Hi, the Sci-Fi Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain the American science fiction action film called Save Yourselves. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The film starts in Brooklyn where a couple, Jack and Sue, are spending the night in their apartments while on their phones and laptop. Sue is upset at Jack for using her computer and deleting the tab she was looking at since it was for her job. As Jack tries to defend himself, Sue's boss changes her assignment to her frustration. He apologizes to her and they reconcile, but then they go back to the internet. The couple goes to a party where they meet up with some friends. Some of the friends are getting along in their lives and careers, while others feel they are stuck in a rut. One of the friends, Raph, talks about a recent experience he had and offers the couple a chance to stay at a cabin of his for some time away. Jack and Sue leave the party talking about Raph and expressing a disappointment in how their lives are now. The next day, Jack and Sue decide it's time to disconnect from their phones and internet to go to Rafa's cabin. Sue calls her boss and leaves an email to request time off, only to discover that she's been fired. She tries to turn it around and figure it's a good thing. They spend the rest of the day in their apartment before packing later on and heading out on their trip. Meanwhile, up in the sky, a cluster of pods appear to be making their way toward Earth. At the cabin, the couple reconnects with one another, discussing various ways to become better people, such as by baking bread, going vegetarian, or starting a community garden. Their urges to turn their phones back on are strong at first but seem to subside as time goes on. During their stay, Jack notices a strange fuzzy ball-like object sitting in the den, which Sue refers to as a poof, due to its similar appearance to a footrest. After briefly contemplating if it was there before, the couple ignore it. Sue produces a handwritten list of activities for her and Jack to perform in order to connect with each other on a deeper level. With Jack initially interested, he finds out that Sue wrote this list down from an article on the internet, saying that instead of disconnecting from the internet like they intended, Sue brought it with them. After several discussions about doing something with their lives and what they have to offer the world, Sue heatedly insults Jack's character, who angrily walks away and goes outside. Out in the woods the next morning, a man is seen frantically running away from something. At the same time, Jack and Sue take a canoe out on the lake to meditate. The man almost comes near them until he is pulled away by the mysterious creature. While the couple feels at peace with the ambient sounds of nature, Jack is annoyed again that Sue has everything organized, which he equates to being the same as having a phone in hand. They jump out of the canoe and go back to the cabin to find a large fuzzy brown thing on the floor, which Sue calls a poof. After they take a shower together, the poof has disappeared. Jack attempts to chop wood but only manages to get the axe stuck in the wood, and only gets the axe unstuck after a lot of trouble. While Jack is outside, Sue secretly turns on her phone and listens to several strange voicemails from her mother about giant rats infesting New York that seem to consume ethanol. Before she can listen further, Jack returns, and Sue quickly hides her phone. Jack admits to Sue that he feels inadequate as a man, but is committed to them becoming closer. After a night of playing cards and drinking, Sue and Jack begin making love in front of a large window overlooking the yard. Just outside the window, Raph has arrived at the cabin, but falls to the ground dead, revealing a poof just behind him, apparently having been killed by it. Sue and Jack awaken to see that Jack's sourdough starter is empty, and their bottle of whiskey has been drained, with both containers having a small hole punched in the bottom and a sticky substance around the holes. Sue recalls her mother's voicemails, realizes the starter and the whiskey contained ethanol, and that the creatures may be the giant rats she was talking about. They then find the poof in their living room again, and when they try to approach it, it reveals its long tongue that it uses to stick to surfaces and swing from them. Jack and Sue freak out and lock their place down, and Sue confesses to turning her phone back on, that she thinks the voicemails may be related to what's going on. The two hide upstairs, where Jack relents and decides to go back online to find out what they are dealing with. They find messages from their friends who have encountered devastation, and some of them are dead. Sue listens to the full message from her mom, who describes the creatures as aliens, from the day before, that the poofs are alien invaders that have attacked New York, forcing a mass evacuation, and that the poofs feed on ethanol. They also hear a message from Raph, who said he was heading to the cabin, as well as mentioning a gun that is in there. The couple tries to drive into town to get cell service, only to find that the poof siphoned their gas. A poof appears in the den, and they attempt to approach it. The poof flees by launching a long thin proboscis out the door and pulling itself along at high speed. Stunned, the couple then make a plan to escape in their car back to the city. However, they find that the puffs have pierced the fuel tank and drained it. Since gasoline contains ethanol, they find an old Land Rover and its keys in the barn. They find that the Land Rover does not only start up, but it has a full tank of diesel fuel, which the puffs ignore feeding on. Driving through the woods, they find a truck coming the other way pulling off the side of the road in front of a puff. A couple gets out of the car, and the wife produces a gun and starts shooting at the puff. The puff fires its proboscis at her and punches a hole in her chest, killing her. The husband runs to check on her and the puff punches a hole in his head, killing him as well. Jack grabs a bottle of wine they packed from the cabin, and throws it off the road into the woods as a distraction to attract the puff to the ethanol and off the path. The puff rises in the air and sprays a pheromone at Sue and Jack. Before returning to the ground and moving into the woods, Sue and Jack comment that the pheromone smells and tastes awful. They slowly pass the truck to continue on their way, but they hear a baby crying. They have a brief debate on whether they should go back and rescue it, or pretend they did not hear it and move on. After hearing the baby again, they begrudgingly decide to go back and rescue it. They see the baby in the back seat of the truck, and they open the door and begin unbuckling the car seat. As they do, a woman emerges from the bed of the truck, having hidden under a blanket. She sneaks around the other side of the truck and grabs the gun on the ground. As Sue and Jack notice the woman and believe she can help them and the baby, the woman keeps them at gunpoint and says she is taking the car, commenting that it runs on diesel and cannot be affected by the aliens. Sue asks the woman about her baby, and the woman says it is not hers and drives off. They find a birth certificate and discover that the baby is also named Jack. With no other options, Sue and Jack take some supplies from the truck, including a papoose that Jack wears, and head into the woods. Sue becomes despondent, worried about her family and lamenting that they have no life skills to survive the invasion, or to offer in any future society in the wake of the discovery of alien life. While Sue and Jack change baby Jack's diaper, they begin hallucinating from the puff's pheromones. Under the influence, they muse about getting married and doing great things when society rebuilds, and do not notice that baby Jack crawls away. Sue pulls out 2 needles of epinephrine from the truck, and injects herself and Jack, knocking them unconscious. Sue and Jack wake up and find that baby Jack is gone. After panicking and searching, they discover baby Jack, and a puff sitting between him and them. Jack stands between the puff and Sue. The puff shoots its proboscis at Jack, but somehow only knocks him over instead of killing him. Its proboscis becomes stuck in Jack's papoose. Sue grabs a knife and cuts off the proboscis, which deflates and kills the puff. Jack pulls his cell phone out of the pocket of the papoose, which is now crushed because it blocked the impact of the puff's proboscis. Each touched by the other's willingness to protect them, Jack and Sue climb to a lookout point along the trail with baby Jack, and marvel at how they feel more mature and in love compared to how they were when they arrived at the cabin. They commit to marrying one another and intend to raise the baby as their own in the woods, achieving the next steps of their adulthood. Sue notices a strange translucent structure growing out of the ground nearby and investigates. She comments that she cannot touch it because of some kind of force field. Jack guesses that it is some kind of communications tower. The two then discover that their phones have mysteriously regained signal and they immediately check them for information. While they are on their phones, the structure changes shape to trap them inside of an egg-shaped structure. They are unable to break through and they scream for help, though their voices are silent outside the bubble. Sue calls 911 but is directed to voicemail due to high call volume. The bubble begins rising straight up, off the ground and above the trees, taking Sue, Jack, and baby Jack with them. They watch as they eventually rise above the clouds and into the stratosphere. They see hundreds of other bubbles are also rising into space from all around the visible area. They begin to have trouble breathing, but are suddenly supplied oxygen as they rise further into space. Jack asks, "Are we saved?" Jack and Sue are left contemplating what is happening and what will happen as the bubbles continue their gentle path out into space. Save Yourselves is a 2020 American science fiction film written and directed by Alex Houston Fisher and Eleanor Wilson and starring Sunita Mani and John Paul Reynolds. The film premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival. It was released on October 2, 2020, by Bleecker Street. Save Yourselves holds a certified fresh 89% approval rating on review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, based on 91 reviews, with an average of 6.7 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, "Save Yourselves doesn't do anything unexpected with its one-joke premise, but fortunately, that one joke turns out to be consistently funny anyway." Stephanie Zacharek from Time magazine praised the film, saying, "It takes itself just seriously enough, but not too seriously."